sure which bows I'm using. Okay. So if you have your D major scale,
Yeah.
we're starting from an open string. So a scale is a certain pattern of half tones and whole tones. We talked about that last time. Anytime you start a scale from an open string, doesn't matter if I'm starting from G, D, A.
These are all the open strings.
It's all the open strings, and so you're always going to have second and third fingers close together.
Second and third, right.
Okay. Now the next scale that we started learning is the G major scale, starting from what we call the second octave. So now I'm starting from the note G. I'm going to do the same pattern of half steps and whole steps, but now I'm starting from finger 3. And you'll notice, now if I play my 8 notes of the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So, I'm starting from 3.
Yeah.
If I were to play 4, it would be far apart, but I'm going to use the open string for now. Low 2,
right.
I've moved my 2 back to be with my 1. Now the gap is between 2 and 3. 1 and 2 close, and I finish on 2. So I'm not finishing on 3, I'm not finishing on 4, I'm finishing on 2 because that's G. That was my 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Okay? So that is starting on the third finger. Now any scale I start from third finger, I can do C major. C, starting on 3. Do you see how I've got the same pattern of my fingers, low 2?
Yeah.
I can do D major, but now not starting from here, but from here. And I run out of notes, right? But that's where it would start. So then last time, you started G major in third position. So now you had your first, you started from finger 1, right? So now I'm playing. Do you notice how 3 and 4 are now close?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In a major scale, the first 4 notes have the same pattern as the second 4 notes. Right? So now I can play any scale from finger 1. I can do A major from the G string. Do you see how 3 and 4 are close? I can do E major. I'm starting from E. 3 is high, right? I can do B major.
What about F?
Okay, so F is a good question. Okay, F is a scale that is starting from your second finger. Any scale that starts from second finger, that's F, right?
Yeah.
All fingers far apart. Do you see that? All fingers far apart. So now I can say to myself, I want to do D major, but I want to start here. So I can start with vibrato on the open instead of open string. It starts from the second finger, far apart. Do you see my scale?
Yeah.
So depending on what finger you start on in the scale, that will determine the pattern that your fingers make to play in that major key.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to know, I don't know if I should be in that, it doesn't matter, I guess, but we also have different scales. We're only talking about one type of scale, and that is a major scale.
Yeah.
Most pieces, or many pieces, are not written in a major key, right?
Right.
That's a minor key. That's D minor.
Oh.
And minor scales have a different fingering. And minor scales have 3 different types to them. They have what's called a natural minor, in which we are lowering that third note of the major scale. So instead of playing, play.
It sounds a little bit out of tone. That's because you intentionally used the.
Yeah. Right? So now I'm going to that low second finger because I'm making it sa da 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 dum, right?
Yeah.
It's a different feeling to it. But I could also do that's called a melodic minor, or we have a harmonic minor. We have 3 different minor scales.
So the minors basically will not follow the same pattern. Do re mi fa sol la si do with do la ma fa. Is it like a raised or lowered?
It's raised or lowered.
Yes, raised.
Absolutely.
So this is raised and this is lower,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Raised and lower. And then sometimes I see just 1 for G and 2 for D.
Yeah.
Meaning they are 2 raised hand.
Yeah.
And for G there's 1. But in my case I can't remember just based on my ear, basically.
Yeah.
But I have to get used to the minor, which is sometimes.
Which we will get to. I think you need to really be strong in major first.
Yes.
But very soon we'll be getting to the minor scales too.
The minors will be raised or lowered.
Mm-hmm. And there are different types. But there's other scales too. There's something called a chromatic scale.
So this doesn't even sound like a do re mi fa sol la si do to me. So.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Because all that a scale means,
Uh-huh.
like if you, in English we can say you scale a mountain, it means you're climbing,
Yes.
right?
Just going
So
up.
it's just a way of measuring. So
Yeah.
if I'm going from C to C, that's a scale,
One
right?
scale, yeah.
I can do the major scale.
This is
The
a
minor
C.
scale.
Yeah.
This is C. That's A minor
There's a
scale.
lot of raised.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I can also do what we call a chromatic scale. Right? That's another type of scale. There's something called a whole tone scale, which means I'm going to do a whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone. That's a C scale as well, but it's a whole tone scale. So I have books of scales.
Yes.
Because it's just like if you imagine a mountain,
Yeah.
there may be a path that's the easy way up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you can take that path and you can go up. There may be a secondary path that's a little bit harder, but you can still get up to the top of the mountain. And then there are many other ways. You can go straight up the cliff.
Yeah.
You can go,
Yeah.
you know, so a scale just means that you're going from one
Going
note
up, right.
to another note,
Yeah.
right? And how you get there,
Yeah. It's
well,
different.
it can be very, very different. So there's many different scales.
Your step could be wider and shorter. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's that too.
Yeah.
So it's important to realize that right now we are learning how to play in the different keys of major scales.
Yeah.
And then we will learn, because most traditional Western music is written in either major or minor.
Ah.
We don't, there's also, I don't know the names of them all, but at some point, based on that C major scale,
Yeah.
I can do, right, we have that scale.
Yeah.
Now, I can do the same white notes, but start from here. And it has a name, I can't remember, there's like Dorian, Phrygian, Mixolydian. I can do them.
So in terms of notation, how do you say? So you have 2 raised would be for D, 1 raised for G, and then if it is a minor, how is it notated in the book?
So the minor keys all have major keys that they're related to.
So it's written in a major key.
So let me show you something here. This is
Yeah.
C major, right?
Yeah.
If I go down a step, a whole step and then another half, or a half and a whole, right?
Mm.
I get to A.
Mm.
If I play A, from A to A, this is A minor, this is the natural minor.
Mhm.
It's based on C scale.
So it's
So
still written on
C
C.
and A, they're going to have the same key signature. They have no sharps, no flats.
I see.
So the minor keys all have their major key that they're related to.
Yeah, but they will notate the different fingering. It is raised or lowered. So
Mhm.
that's where the key, the different scales.
Mm-hmm. So for
It's
example,
notated.
G major, we
Yeah.
know that it has one sharp, the
Right.
F sharp, right? I'm going to go down a whole step and a half. Now I'm starting from E. So now I've just played E minor, but it's based on the G scale.
I see. So it will notate it still as a one shot,
Mm-hmm. It's
but
still
you
noted.
will know different fingering on specific notes. That will make your mind.
And your center is going to be different because in G major, you constantly want to come back home to G,
Right.
right? But if you're in E minor, you're going to want to come back to E all the time, not to G.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So these things are all important for helping you determine your fingers.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I'm taking this class right now through UC Berkeley on Brazilian music like samba and,
Yeah.
and all the traditional. And the person who's teaching it is a he's won several Grammy Awards. He's amazing. He gets on the drums, he gets on
Yeah.
the piano, he
Yeah.
plays everything.
Yeah.
And he says that this modern way of looking at music is not how he teaches, because he teaches you to feel the music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think it has to go both ways. You have to understand, but you also have to feel it. Because if you
Yeah.
only understand it, it's very artificial.
Yeah.
And if you only feel it, then you can get there, but then you don't quite understand the
Right. You have to understand it.
understand it as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's important to know both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
All right,
Yeah.
so-
Okay, let's do some. So this is the G.
Now last time we talked
Ah,
about the
that
thumb,
talk,
it's much better.
Relax.
Go ahead. Yeah, try to get the impulse to come from here. We need to develop the muscle right here
Here.
in the finger rather than the squeeze between that and the thumb.
I mean, should be like a no touch.
It's better already. If you can feel it, but I've loosened up your thumb, and all I'm doing is not allowing it to lock this way, but I'm giving you that feeling that it's a little more rounded.
Rounded.
You feel that? And now you have a soft thumb,
Yeah.
and it softens the rest of your fingers.
My partner used to just like squeeze the sound, so you
It's
have
getting
to,
better. It's much better.
Yeah.